Hey there, beloved Ascension pioneers, and welcome to another video update of mine. And in this video, I want to make a short description and, just kind of provide you with some insights on what does it really mean to be of selfless service. I want to expand more about our divine purpose because, I still get asked a lot about this, even in my spirit readings. When people come to me for their personal ascension messages, they ask me about their purpose and what they're supposed to do and all sorts of things. And a lot of times I'm still being asked about this, and even people wanting to know what does it really mean to be of service. So today, after this new wave and influx of energy, which was a lot about the rainbow energy, rainbow is the fragmentation. So kind of like encompassing of all colors that emanate out from the white ray of creation. So from the unity consciousness, from the white of purity, come all these beautiful colors and shades and tones, and the rainbow energy is all about that. So recently, because of all this expansion, I've been having a lot of hyperactivity again and hyper days. So just spirit nudging me again to share in different things, and I did create a new actually rainbow collection soul essence jewelry with their earrings too. And I don't know if you can see it. There's a heart in this tiara. This is my new Elven circlet that has rainbow light energy. And well, a lot of us has this rainbow heart, the heart of a spirit warrior, which is really not about fighting. It has nothing to do with the war. The rainbow warrior really means that you just are. You bring your presence into this world, and then you just emanate and radiate out. And this is what the rainbow is about, just reflecting that light out and emanating. So I want to share about this because I feel that a lot of people still think that to be of divine service has some sort of a spiritual connotation to it, which means that, in the New Age communities, that there's a lot of separateness there. People who are doing a spiritual purpose and people who are doing a less spiritual purpose. So in truth, there's nothing like that connotated with that anyway. So there's a huge misleading there if you think of in terms of that way, because it's truly not what it's about to live your divine purpose. To be of selfless service to the divine means that once your soul has enough knowledge and wisdom and remembrance, divine remembrance to share, it actually remembers that it's not alone, it's a part of this greater whole, and it wants to emanate that out. It wants to flow. In Tao Te Ching, there's this beautiful saying that I've just heard this today, and I was again reminded of this. And what is emptied, what is full seeks to be emptied out, and what is emptied out seeks to be filled. So when you become this chalice for the divine light, you're then always asked to share every bit of it, every bit of the essence that you're receiving, everything, every insight. But it's not always in terms of doing, you see? A lot of people still come to me and they ask me, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do, how to share my guidance, how to share my wisdom. And a lot of people are expanding in their divine service. And a lot of people are letting me know that thank you for being an inspiration. I'm stepping further in my divine service, and it's bringing me all these gifts and synchronicities. So I finally know what's about. And I'm really happy to read all those reports and from all those of you who are stepping further into your self-empowerment. But I also want to share that we're all unique. So how we will emanate that out, how we will radiate out will be, it will be diverse and unique for each and every one of us. A lot of people who have the purest of the heart, and they're still preparing the service is always about constant devotion, constant preparation, because you're always in sync with the divine wisdom. You're a chalice for that spirit light, and you don't have your own personal saying to it. You're just like a conduit for that light. You're not a channeler in that terms, like a lot of people like to use that term, but you literally become the embodiment of that highest energy, of your highest soul potential and expression and unique form, and you bring that out by emanating, by radiating that light out. But what I feel a lot of people who don't always have the guidance what to do are so frustrated about that they forget about the beautiness that they are. They forget about the grace that fills their being. So a lot of times that comes up in my readings. How I do my readings is very simple. Before I start, I just, take this little crystal, which is one of my favorite crystals. It's actually the complete perfection of the divine feminine masculine. It has this crossing of V shapes, so it represents the interpoint, the intermiddle point, the balance point of all life, and just holding this and just interdimensionally and extra dimensionally and connecting with all life and creation, I just tune in and I feel things so easily and so simply. And usually I get a word, a phrase, a sentence, a rhyme, and I just know. And then I do reading, which always confirms what I'm feeling because you're just plugging into that. So my divine service in my own unique way is just being the conduit for that purity, for that light. And people always, when they come across my writings or sharings, anything that is, they always say that it's exactly the right, perfect timing. That is because my purpose here is to be that light, is to be that perfection. My sun sign is Virgo, and the purpose of the Virgo is purification. The Virgo is the great purifier. It wants everything perfect. A lot of people, if they don't seek the balance within that energy and that archetype, they tend to be too perfectionist. And I used to be that when I was younger, and that energy. But when you come to in terms of balance, you will understand what the greater purification is all about. You actually are striving for the greatest perfection, and you devote yourself to that. So Virgo is also about selfless service. But in another way, for me, for example, how other people see you, I have a lot of planets, not just my ascendant sign, which is my rising sign, which is very important for how others see you and your purpose, which for me is Sagittarius, the teacher, the worldly person, the way shower, things like that. But I feel it's also important that I feel that way, that I like to be out there and sharing and exploring and always wanting expansion, because that's the nature of Sagittarius, to always bring forth expansion. But that's not all. My greatest purpose, and I'll share as always, I'll share through my own example, the greatest purpose for me is to be the energy that I am. And what is not authentic to me, it may present itself during this lifetime, and it will show. And when you will not be in that highest alignment, things will not be so in flow. Things will not be so aligned. And when you are, everything flows. Abundance on all levels, not just money, but everything. For example, if I'm not being fully true to myself and living my divine purpose, a lot of times maybe the money supply won't be, as needed as it would. So the soul is kind of nudging you to go into the direction that is more highly aligned for you. But what is really important here is to see that there's no separation in terms of a spiritual path or non-spiritual path, and that being of divine service means that you have to have a completely spiritual path. Excuse me. So during all of this, when I'm noticing out there, how this is being shared about the purpose and all these things, I feel that it can confuse people in confusing that to being their highest source self that is out there, that's already within you. It's always been there. So for example, what truly means to be of divine service means to be your full authentic self, but through your divinity, your natural spark as you were created, as that unique variation of creation and source awareness. So for example, I have, of course, a more spiritual path. I share about awareness. I talk to people through spirit. I help them, to see their own purity. Through my own divine remembrance, I help them remember theirs. And my path, for example, I do create things that are tangible too, now that I'm sharing more on my path through physical art, soul art and vibration that is actually shared through art. So this is vibrational art. But most of my purpose will always be the energy that I emanate, what I represent in energy. And this is one particle of source that came here to share in this planet, and it's doing it through me. The same goes for you, but I would like for people to know that just because somebody, for example, might be working with things that are more tangible, like being, I don't know, building construction, working in gardens, working with things, essences like oil therapies, essential oil therapies, being an astrologer, being even a farmer, all these things. So none of this is actually our purpose, the label of what we do. So when I use the term being an ascension guide, that's just one tiny fraction, that's one tiny part. When you go deeper and deeper into your spiritual core, you will see the path that is more spiritually aligned with your true authentic spark. But all these things in the middle, they're not really our purpose. It's just things that we do. But how we do that, in that lies our true purpose. So to be of divine service, that's both encompassed in this video, does not mean that you need to walk this spiritual path. But again, what is spiritual anyway? To be spiritual means to live in oneness and complete alignment with the cosmic laws, with the principles of creation, to respect all life. So you might have this person, imagine this elderly person living out there in a cabin in the woods, for example, not even being exposed a lot to this world, and they have their own unique reality, and they live in oneness with nature and all these things, but they've never read spiritual books. They've never been a part of the New Age community. They know nothing about it. They've never, been reading books about that, like ascended masters and angels and all of that stuff. But somehow they always had that inner knowing of what's right, not right and wrong in the dualistic sense, but what's rightful in a sense that what is divine. So you see, is that person living their spiritual purpose or not? And in the other case, let's take an example of somebody living in the city, doing all sorts of methods and healing modalities and all of that, but they're too driven from the outside. And a lot of times they fall too much for the external, and they say, my path is very spiritual because I do Reiki, I do this and that. But is that true? And they say, I'm of divine service because I'm doing healing work. But the truth is that what does mean to be of divine service means that you discover your unique source spark, and you share your spark in complete and utter authenticity. That means your soul is exposed as it is. No additional add-ons and things that are not really authentic, and things you just do because your whole family has done it, and there's been a family tradition and things have been going on and on. Like, for example, your father has been a mechanic, now you will be a mechanic, and this goes on. And you sometimes say, oh, that's just how it is in our bloodline, but it's not true. It's something you've come to believe. So you think, you're being of service because this is a service kind of work. Well, everything is a service kind of work. You're a hairdresser, you're doing service for others. But to be in divine service, that's something completely different. And it doesn't mean it has to be spiritual in nature, that you need to do what I do, or you need to meditate and, you need to do light activation and all these things. In truth, this just means that you live your fullest alignment through your source self. You allow your higher self to lead your life, to guide your life, to be your reality, and then you emanate that out through whatever you do. And a lot of people who live their true divine service, they do different things. They don't just do one thing. They do art, they paint, they create, they write, they do many things. They don't just say, I'm a book author. So who are you? I'm a book author. I have 3 bestsellers and this is it. So this is not the life purpose. You see, the life purpose is the uniqueness of your being through basic core, authentic soul signature that is in complete resonance with your source self. So how you were created and how you're expanding in this journey. And therefore, you will already automatically be in divine service. So when you find your highest potential, you're already being in your divine alignment and you are living your divine service. And this is your divine purpose. So you see, it's all interconnected and it's not complicated. It's so simple. So for a lot of those people who ask me about, I'm not guided what to do, I don't know how to do this, how to share my wisdom, how to, do things physically. A lot of times when I do readings, it comes out that a lot of people, some are just preparing for something bigger, because these are all just like chapters in a book of our huge scenario that encompasses many things, not just one, not just being an ascension guide, things like that, okay? And I've noticed a lot of times what comes up is either this preparation stage, and in my journey, I'm still not completely there as to what my true purpose was set out here to be. I'm still walking those steps towards it. And actually, it's all one. I'm already being in that. Do you see? Do you see the difference? But at the same time, it's already one. This is because it's all happening in the now, and it's all equally important, and it's all part of the greater puzzle. So, what oftentimes also comes out is that a lot of people are just there to be the conduits of love. How they share, how their kindness, their loving appreciation for others, and just their beingness. Not everybody can do that, but I say this with the purest of intent, that only the bravest and the strongest souls in energy, how daring they are to truly be their authentic selves. They actually have the capacity to just radiate, and that's it. They actually don't need to do anything else, although they will, because they choose that experience, of course. And we will always be living that perfect balance of the being and doing. So co-creating also in the density. So we wish to bring things into form. But a lot of times, a lot of souls think that their purpose needs to be so tangible, so fixed at this time. That needs to be something that they see with their physical eyes. Like, I want to see how many people I've helped. I want them to give me feedback. But a lot of times, a lot of souls don't know that just by being themselves, when they hold that pillar of light, they're already assisting so many. Like, you can be a beacon of light for the entire neighborhood, for the entire city. I've just read today that one quote unquote light worker, affects a certain mileage, certain radius around themselves. I don't really resonate with those numbers because I will always say that this depends on how much you embody. So how much light you can embody, this is how much you can radiate and emanate. And that's it, period. There's no like generalization here. So what we all aim for and strive for is to be the highest potential. Imagine the living ascended masters. What they did, what they accomplished is to be a pure conduit of source light. So they held the consciousness of 1 4 4,000, the equivalence of light. That's how we call it, the 1 4 4,000 beings of light. We say beings, but in actual truth, that means that they tune into the head over soul, and they can hold that potential of their monadic presence, and this is called ascension. So, in truth, divine service means that when you reach that state, and then whatever you do, do with authenticity, do with love, and then you're already doing service. This doesn't mean you cut somebody's hair, and if you're not loving that, what you're doing, then you're not being of that great divine service because you're not doing it with love. So, see the difference between spiritual and not spiritual, and see that in truth, that there is no such separation. But what is spiritual means that it's an integrity, it's an alignment with your spirit self. For me, that is the only true definition of the word spiritual. It doesn't mean you read spiritual books, go to a few classworks, class shop. Oh gosh. So anyway, seminars, let's just call them seminars, okay? Sometimes I take different words and mix them all into one, and yeah, that's what you get. So it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean how many workshops this time I got it right. So it doesn't mean how many workshops you've gone to, how many books you've read. It's about how authentic and in alignment you live with your soul. And a lot of people say, I don't know, I'm not guided what to do yet. I don't know. And you know what I will tell you here? That when it is the thing that you'll be guided to do, also in the physical, tangible form, you will know. Because I know how guidance comes. It comes through ideas, divine ideas and inspiration. And it's like this. And you don't question it. You're so inspired to do it. And until then, you're preparing, you're gathering knowledge, you're gathering the codes of light that you're supposed to radiate. And that's a beautiful process. And a lot of times, there's this image that Spirit shows me when a chrysalis opens up and it just emanates different structures of divine geometry out in your beautiful patterns of light and symmetry. We don't always see that. So you won't always see as an ascension pioneer how much you're emanating out, but you need to trust. You need to know that the ripples, the feedback, all of that will come in divine timing. That didn't come for me right away. It needed preparation and devotion and years of this, and even all my life before I was in some sort of way I was preparing. I mean, we're always preparing and we're always expanding, but the whole thing is that to be of divine service means to really walk in your alignment and nothing else. So not everybody will be doing what I'm doing, and not everybody will be guiding people into, I don't know, these sacred spaces and light activations and for them to connect to their higher selves. Many people will have, I don't know, they'll be working with food. They'll be shifting things in the more physical nature of things, like building new buildings, new way of living. And I've been sharing about this before because all parts are equal and all are needed. And we're all doing the part, the envelope that we have kind of given to ourselves in our spirit form. And we've said, okay, I'm going to take the envelope. I'm going to take that little piece of heaven, but it's actually a big piece. I'm going to take it down into this earthly form, and I'm going to walk my journey with the greatest enthusiasm, inspiration, and joy. And along the way, I'm going to uplift many of others. So no matter what you do, the upliftment energy, that's what a true light worker, quote unquote, is really about. It's about the energy. It's about when people tell you, gosh, you're an inspiration to me. And it's not about what you did or what you said. You touch me, you move me, and that's what you're here to do. When you are living in that alignment, that's what you're doing. So it's very simple. Don't make it complicated. And know that being in divine service and walking your divine purpose are actually one and the same, And it takes so little. All it takes is do your self-work, and then all the other will follow. So you will know what action to take. You will know which steps you'll be guided to do, and how to keep walking on, because it will be revealed to you. Sometimes I just wake up and know what to do. At other days, I'm like, oh, I feel blank. I feel void. Okay, that's when I'm allowing more space for more expansion and more growth, and to be filled with more light of my true spirit self. And that's perfectly normal. It's perfectly natural. And when you have doubts, remember that these doubts are just the ego that doesn't always understand everything, but you are a higher self in truth, and you're here to teach your ego, and you're here to do that through humility and grace. And it is that simple. So, like I said, to be of divine service doesn't really mean that now you have to do things, like spiritually in the sense. I don't like to use spiritually for what we do, like meditate and these things. I use the word spiritual for being in spirit alignment, with our spirit source self. But if I use it in that way, like I said, it doesn't mean that you're going to be walking around doing these spiritual things that you perceive as such. It means that you'll be doing what your heart sings with joy through, and that's what it is. That's what it really is in truth. So me and my little crystal buddy are saying hi and goodbye at the same time to you. It's time for me to go have my dinner, and I'll talk to you soon. As you can see, there's a beautiful snowy landscape. I hope these trees are able to hold it much longer. We will see. There's just like this energy of excitement here, and I don't know, it's just magical and challenging at the same time, but it's very interesting. So enjoy your beautiful expansions wherever you are. I hope this made sense, and if you're guided to have a reading with me, I'll be really happy and blessed to assist you, because I don't know, I've never had a negative feedback yet. It's like 111% confirmative. People are loving the readings. Some people even report that they're crying when they're reading the messages, because it's not even what I say. It's sometimes I'm like, it's just, I'm not saying anything special. I'm just, spirit guides me say a certain thing, but actually it activates the door. It opens a gateway in a certain person that needs to hear that in order to remember what is already inside of them, and that's what is happening. It's like a ripple effect. So you know where to find me. All the information is there in my blog section about personal services. And like I say, because I do things in a way that's really freely sharing, that's why I will always do this, because it's just how I'm guided. And because of that, part of my purpose is to work everything on a free base, like a donation base. So this is how I'm supported through spirit, and this is my path, and this is what I trust, and I've always been supported. And this is what it means to be in that divine source alignment. The support will always be flowing, and yeah, that's what it is. So thank you for supporting, for whatever, for always writing in this beautiful manner that you do. Please join us on Facebook. There's a beautiful family of Ascension Pioneers there already. We really are beginning to feel so much like family. I'm so excited. And I'm really looking forward to all the new that is still in front of us, because whatever has already happened, I still feel it's just the beginning. It's just, we've just scratched the surface. So there's always more. Take care. I love you all so much. And bye-bye. See you soon.